Hey guys, East from FGC Academy here. Recently, Capcom released a Season 2 update for Street Fighter V. This includes a slew of changes for the characters, as well as mechanics updates for the entire system of the game. It can be a little bit difficult to sift through the notes that they released, so what we're doing here today is taking a look at some of the more influential changes that you should be on the lookout for Season 2. Let's take a look. Next up is Cammy. Now, Cammy is a character who's very near and dear to my heart, considering that's the character that I mained for Season 1. And honestly, I feel like Cammy is a very fair and balanced character. Also, now if you're a Capcom employee, this would be the time to cut off the video. Okay, are they gone? Are they gone? Yeah. Cammy got crazy buffs for Season 2. She has, in general, more frame advantage on hit and block. Her standing medium punch, which was already at advantage, is even more plus now. Before it was +2 on block, now it's +3, which means you can do it again for a 3-frame tight frame trap. They also reduced the pushback on the move, so for bigger characters now you can do up to 3 standing medium punches in a row, and they kind of have to take that, which is kind of strong. She also saw increase to her standing heavy punch. Also, her crouching heavy punch are more advantageous on hit and block. Also, her standing medium kick, which is kind of her main poking tool, and one of arguably the best pokes in the game as far as range is concerned, it lost 1 frame of startup, so now it's even faster. This is a kind of strange change, considering almost every other character in the patch notes got their moves slowed down. Cammy was one of the only two got theirs sped up. So that's going to be a better option to whiff punish and also to play footsies with in the mid-range game. In addition, her EX spiral arrow gained about +20 damage. If you get EX spiral arrow, it does more damage now. I mean, there really wasn't much of a reason to use it in the first season, so now I guess them buffing it for damage use to burn the meter is more of a reason to use it in combos. And maybe because of some of her improved frame advantage, she'll take advantage of different or new combos using EX Spiral Arrow. And finally, a very welcome buff for a lot of Cammy players was the fact that her V reversal is now no longer negative or punishable on block. In Season 1, I don't think many people found out until maybe near the middle to end of the season, but her V reversal was punishable if you just blocked it. It was about -6 or -8, and so you could hit her, see the V reversal, block, and then continue attacking and do maybe an even bigger combo than before. Now that's been reduced, so now the V reversal is -2 on block at worst and +2 on hit at best. It did lose knockdown. So before, if it did hit the opponent, it knocked them down when she crossed them up and hit them. Now it will keep them in a standing position, so the opponent doesn't immediately have to deal with a wake-up situation. Next, let's take a look at a few of her nerfs. Her first nerf, the medium kick dive kick, lost 1 frame of block stun. Oh, excuse me, gained 1 frame of block stun, excuse me. This is kind of a nerf in a way that it makes the standing medium kick, the medium kick dive kick, which was kind of the go-to dive kick for most Cammy players, because it was less negative on hit. If that sounds a little bit strange, what I mean is, in Season 1, the heavy kick dive kick and the medium kick dive kick did not have the same recovery, or they did not have the same amount of block stun. One of the two were different, but the the heavy dive kick had more recovery or block stun when the opponent, or had less block stun when you landed, excuse me. So it's kind of a nerf, but basically they're equalizing the medium kick dive kick with the heavy kick dive kick. So now they should both be as negative as each other. Next, the EX dive kick got more recovery on landing. So this is to take advantage of the fact that Cammy players from full screen could just jump in, do EX dive kick, and be in your face plus. Now Capcom has made it aware to them that you can't just do a random jump in to get frame advantage or get pressure instantly. If they hit above the waist, they're basically negative, the Cammy player. So they have to time, or they have to space the dive kick a bit more. It is still possible to do a tiger knee dive kick, so you can basically do it instantly off the ground. So from about mid-range, you still hit their feet. But if you aren't as precise as you were before, you might find yourself in an even situation or at a negative advantage. In addition to this, they also made the hitbox for the attack smaller, and they made a larger hurt box around it so that characters who are kind of looking for it have a better chance of stopping it before Cammy gets in for free. And finally, a nerf that doesn't seem too big, but actually had a pretty big difference on Cammy is the fact that her medium kick spiral arrow matches the advantage of heavy kick spiral arrow on a knockdown. A lot of players found out near the end of the first season that Cammy could do a medium kick dive kick and immediately dash forward. If the opponent quick rised, she could do a meaty throw, a standing light kick, and basically the opponent had to guess between those two options. And because of the way her other spiral arrows knocked down, you could dissuade someone from back teching or from not recovering at all to set them up in a situation where they quick rise and have to take this really scary mix-up. So yeah, again, Cammy got really buffed this season. A character who was arguably top 5 before is likely to be returning to that same top 5 list. She's got faster normals, she's got more positive normals, she's got more damage, her V reversal isn't punishable. The fact that her dive kicks did get nerfed is, I think, a very fair and necessary nerf to her, considering they were a bit strong. She also did see differences on her wake-up timings for opponents off the medium spiral arrow. So now they're going to have to change their mix-ups on wake-up or their Oki setups to reflect the changes here. I think because of the spiral arrow setups being changed, I think we'll see her wake-up game a little bit weakened. But overall, I think she'll still be a very strong character to play in Season 2. Going into Season 1, Birdie was a character who was kind of known as a strong defensive tank. At the mid-range game, he really shined. He had really strong, really powerful footsies. And as long as he could play that game or continue to play that game, he usually won the matches he fought. I think you can see players like XYZZY from Korea who really made him shine. I think you can see that in their playstyle. Going into Season 2, Birdie was one of the characters who got a lot of positives and negatives, and so it's really difficult to find out where to place him. Did he come out overall good, come out overall bad? But I think that the buffs and nerfs that he did receive were both welcome additions, considering the way that Street Fighter Season 2 will be played. Let's first look at the buffs. So one that's really welcomed by a lot of Birdie players is the fact that his standing medium punch is just overall better. It's more at frame advantage on hit, so now you can continue pressure off of a standing medium punch. It has less pushback now, so the opponent remains closer to you, so you can continue pressure. And it also has longer range, so in the fact where sometimes Birdie was just out of range to get a combo off of standing medium punch, arguably one of his only combo starting moves, now he should be able to do that. It's also a better tool to catch people at the mid-range game when you want to whiff punish something. Next, let's take a look at the crouching heavy kick into V-trigger. A lot of Birdie mains complained in Season 1 that, outside of a random bullhorn, it was really difficult for Birdie to activate V-trigger safely. So Capcom responded to them by giving him a crouching heavy kick into V-trigger. Before it was -19, now it's -2 on block. So you have another option to activate at the mid-range. However, you do lose the advantage to press for a moment or two. Again, Birdie's really strong during that time as his walk speeds increase. He does more damage. He's much faster overall. So I think that we'll be seeing this being a small nerf, but I think overall it's above the fact that he can activate V-trigger more safely. Next, his V-skill can, where he kind of he takes a drink of the can and then he rolls it across the screen. The can will move at a slower speed. This is good. I think it allows Birdie to set up and push the opponent toward the corner more, Now it seems a bit more scary if the can is just slowly rolling at you. Birdie can go in, and hopefully if you try to retaliate against him, the can will hit you, and he can get a combo off of that. Or he can use it in really tricky wake-up setups I think players were using in Season 1 or near the end of Season 1 that were discovered by Birdie. So hopefully this will help him pressure more, as well as give him more mix-up options close to the opponent. And finally, his EX Bullhorn, where he kind of rushes forward, is now -2 on block, as opposed to -10 before. This is a buff that he gets because of a nerf. We'll talk a little bit more about it later, but the EX Bullhorn did lose one of its stronger points, and so to do that, or to offset that, they gave Birdie the ability to be somewhat safe, but just lose pressure when he uses it if it's blocked. Next, let's take a look at some of the nerfs here. So he first of all lost 25 HP. A character who had 1050 in Season 1, now he has 1025 in Season 2. It's not a huge blow to him, although he will be able to take slightly fewer risks in a match. Although he will still play as a kind of defensive character. Next, he saw damage reductions across the board in a lot of his heavy moves. Crouching heavy punch, forward heavy punch, the down forward heavy punch where he slides. He also saw some in some of his special attacks. For example, the Bullhead lost, I think, about 10 to 20 damage across the board. And he also has a slew of other attacks that did lose some damage. And this is a nerf, but I feel like it was necessary considering Birdie is so strong in the neutral game. If he remained as strong as he was and kept the damage, I think he would have been a top 5 character very easily. Next, like I said before, his EX Bullhorn did receive a nerf to make up for the buff that it did get, being unpunishable, but just at negative advantage. So before, he would get armor from frame 1. So the opponent, if they tried to do something on wake up, you could stick out EX Bullhorn and you would just blow through whatever they were going to do. Now he gets it from frame 3. So there's a bit of a risk in a wake up situation that Birdie has to take when throwing this move out. It can be beaten, and it will be beaten in the future. So you do get the option of making it safe. However, you have to be careful of just throwing it out on wake up. Next, I think this is a change that happened to most of the cast, so it's not too big of a blow to Birdie, but his forward heavy kick, although it did receive other small nerfs, including hitbox changes, and they reduced the size of some of the first or second hits, now it is -6 on block. It's easier to punish than it was before, but this is something that's happening to every character with an overhead, so you shouldn't feel like you were singled out, or Birdie was singled out because of this nerf. And finally, his last big nerf is the fact that his crouching light kick received one more frame of startup. In general, a lot of Birdie's moves did receive some startup, some more startup. The fact that crouching light kick is one of his faster attacks and also one of his farther reaching attacks, the fact that it's 5 frames now instead of 4, makes it more difficult for Birdie to punish some things or slightly negative things farther out. And so, looking at Birdie overall, I really feel like, yes, he did receive nerfs. He did receive maybe fewer buffs than nerfs. However, he was really strong Season 1 at the mid-range game, and Capcom wants the Season 2 game to be played more in that mid-range, and so the nerfs were kind of necessary to keep him a fair and balanced character without making him too powerful. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about the changes so far in the comments below. Also, let us know what characters you'd like to see next. So we are trying to get these out as soon as possible, hopefully finishing up the entire cast in about 2 or 3 weeks. So let us know who you want to see next. Thanks, take care, keep on fighting.